And so you cannot rise to power, declare something that is true that has no scientific support. You can get away with it for a little while because you can drum up support, especially on social media, but that you're building a house of cards that will ultimately collapse.
A couple of weeks ago, Neil deGrasse Tyson appeared on Piers Morgan's show where they discussed a range of topics. In one part of the conversation, Tyson addressed Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a Trump appointee, and his inconsistent views on various issues. As we approach the formal establishment of the new Trump 2.0 administration, hearing Tyson's perspective as a scientist is quite intriguing. So, let's watch the segment together. Feel free to share your thoughts on this in the comments. Now, let's take a look.
Well, the sort of Trump landscape we're heading to has a number of things which enter your wheelhouse, one of which Scientific America said, for example, about the appointment of RFK Jr. Trump has promised he would allow Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to go wild on medicines, food, and health. With that, a radical anti-establishment medical movement with roots in past centuries could threaten the achievements of a science-based public health order painstakingly built since World War II. Do you agree with their categorization of the way this could go?
Yeah, I don't have a crystal ball of how actual politics unfolds. What I do know is that in the U.S. government, no matter what people say at the top, what matters is how money gets allocated in the federal budget. And you can say, oh, I hate science, or science is this or that, but if the money goes to the agencies, then the career scientists who work for those agencies will do their job. And by the way, leaders come and go. Heads of agencies, especially if they're presidential appointees, come and go. The scientists are there for their careers. And so in the end, the scientists will do what scientists must do. And I have full confidence that we will not lose the mission statement of these very important scientific institutions. By the way, just a quick bit of history. Abraham Lincoln in 1863, when he clearly had other things he needed to be worrying about, signed into existence the National Academy of Science, having seen in Europe the role of science in shaping their future of their economy, of their culture, of their civilization. And so this was set up as an independent agency with scientists choosing other scientists in their community to participate, to independently advise the executive branch and the House and the Senate on policies that relate to the country. And so I have the confidence that that kind of mission statement will prevail.
Someone like RFK, he's got obviously some outlandish ideas. He has some very good ideas. I mean, you're looking at America in totality. It's one of the fattest countries and unhealthiest countries in the developed world, right? I mean, it just is. And by the way, we're in no position to lecture you over here either in the UK. So I'm not by any means taking the high moral ground, but it's a reality that America is a pretty unhealthy and fat country. Is there anything wrong?
Yeah, your fish and chips. Your fish and chips is a whole other
with mushy peas,
bath and oil right there.
But my point is, I always remember my favorite statistic when I was a newspaper editor, when George W. Bush became president. Under Freedom of Information, we got access to all the people he had sent to the death chamber, the execution list.
Favorite statistic?
Governor of Texas. It was like 160 odd people. It was the greatest number of people executed by one governor in modern history in America. And as part of the Freedom of Information, we got access to what their last meal request was in the days when they used to make a last meal request and they could have whatever they wanted. 80-something% wanted a Big Mac and large fries. True.
Piers, first of all, that's creepy that you would do that, okay? That's just...
Well, no, it was actually, the whole point of it was this guy he killed a lot of people when he was governor, and he executed a lot of people. And it was quite informative about the kind of president he may be. That was the point. But the detail was fascinating and what it said to me was, yeah, America is a fast food country. I mean, it just is. So is there anything intrinsically wrong in principle with a bit of a disruptor like RFK going, you know what, we're just going to attack all this. We're going to try and make America a healthier place, even if, albeit, he has some pretty out there views about things like vaccines.
I have to see the details. I don't know where he will land in these things. Yeah, there are things he said previously, but not everything he said even agreed with itself.
Right.
So it's hard to predict where that's going to land when he takes office. But I can tell you that in the end, nature is the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner of what is objectively true in this world. And so you cannot rise to power, declare something that is true that has no scientific support. You can get away with it for a little while because you can drum up support, especially on social media, but that you're building a house of cards that will ultimately collapse. Or if you manage to shore up the house of cards with more things that are not objectively true, other countries will rise up and they will lead the world in ways that we once did. And I've come to realize that we are highly reactive rather than proactive as a country relative to our place in the rest of the world. And I fear that we may have to sink a little lower in our sort of scientific prowess before everyone wakes up and realizes we're not on the right track, yet other countries are.
Okay.
And because you and I, we're same age-ish, we lived the second half of the 20th century with the United States leading in practically every metric in science and technology. And I just got very accustomed to that, frankly. Yeah, and I'd like to see that continue.